Listen to the Vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And very happy to welcome Agi Keramidas here with me. And he is talking to me all the way from the UK. We're going to get to know him, but you're a podcaster, you're an author, a knowledge broker, and a mentor. But besides that, tell us a little bit more about you.
First of all, thank you for the invitation, Kyle. It's a real pleasure to be here. A little bit about me. So I'm Greek originally. I live in the UK. Out of the things that you said, podcasting is a real passion of mine. Actually, it has turned into a mission at some point to, help give to my listeners some kind of tools or actions that they can use and improve their lives. So I've been podcasting for 5 years now, and it's always a pleasure to have a conversation with a fellow podcaster. I really enjoy it. So apart from that, it depends what you want me to tell about me. There are so many things I could say. Tell me what would be the most, value for your audience, or what intrigued you the most when you were reading about me, and I will happily go there.
Well, first off, and I don't know if anybody else would be interested, but I'm curious, why did you move from beautiful Greece to the UK?
That's a great question. I was in my mid-30s. I am, I will say, a dentist by profession, even though I don't practice very much nowadays. But in my mid-30s, I found myself living a life that on the outside seemed to be really great. I had a good job. I had a fiancé. I was friends, my family, and so on. But inside, I felt empty. I felt unfulfilled, and I really didn't know what to do about that. And that, was leading me to behavior that was not leading anywhere nice, shall we say, or anywhere promising. So I had that dream, if you want, or a dream, or something that was coming to me, not a dream, during the night, but a general feeling that something, a calling, perhaps it's a better word, a calling that in the UK, in England, there was something for me. So it took me a while to, make the decision and change pretty much everything about my life. But eventually I did. I left my job, my fiancé, my friends and family, all that behind. And I went on a one-way ticket to the UK. That was back in 2010. To pursue that calling that I had, which I didn't know exactly what it was, but it really felt strong and it was drawing me. I mean, you could say intuition was the thing that actually made me left there. Certainly it was not the weather, the weather of England. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have generally the same reason why they like to help others, but why do you feel that passion?
It came naturally, I think. Especially once I started the podcast, I realized that, and also with the mentoring, but let's stick to the podcast because it's more relevant to the conversation. I realized that some people would thank me, or they would say, I listened to that podcast that you did and I did that as a result. That is for me a great motivator to keep on doing what I'm doing. And to answer your question in a different way, helping others, or contribution, if you want to call it in a general sense, I think that is one of the highest needs we have as humans. I mean, there are very few things, if there are any, that give you greater satisfaction and fulfillment than helping others in one way or the other. I mean, there are many different ways one can help or contribute. But in essence, what it involves is that you help someone else improve or do something else. I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh, I get you. I get you.
Right.
It's just something about helping others that makes you feel like you're really contributing to society and not just taking all the time, if that makes sense.
Of course it does. Yeah, yeah.
So I've never heard the term knowledge broker. Where'd you get that from?
I got that actually from a training program I did back in 2019. It was by Tony Robbins. And a knowledge broker, the way that I interpret the term anyway, you know, we live in an era that we are drowning in information. There is so much knowledge around us.
Mm-hmm.
However, at the same time, we are starving for wisdom because all this information, it is out there. Yes, it is readily available to anyone who, with an internet connection, shall we say. However, it is so overwhelming. Much of it is irrelevant or not good quality information. So there is a problem with this abundance of information for most people that are really short of time, and I think most of us in one way or another, it's the modern way of living. We don't have much time, or as much time as we would like to, research and find books and discover the things we're very keen on and we would like to learn about and improve our lives. So my role as the knowledge broker is to collect or get that information on a particular topic, shall we say, and distill it into wisdom or into actionable steps or insights or something that is, much more practical than knowledge. So it's not my role is not to pass information. The role has to do with more facilitating the transformation because of the essence of the knowledge. So yeah, like distilling. I think the word distill that I used earlier, I think it's the good representation of what at least I perceive my role as a knowledge broker to be.
Well, you've gone one step further, and as I mentioned earlier, you're an author. So tell us about your book.
Yeah, actually, because it's a good question, very following up with what we were saying. And I have, for people who can watch it, but I will read it anyway. The book is called 88 Actionable Insights for Life. And it's all about the tools, the things that one can use and implement. So the book is about personal development, things that we can take on board and make some habit out of them and improve our lives. It happened very, very recently. I mean, I was working on the book for over a year, but I have released it very recently. And it really comes with what I was saying earlier. I have distilled knowledge on topics. For example, how to master your emotional state, or how to set up your set goals and achieve them, or things like that, but in practical, actionable steps. And it has 88, as the title implies, chapters, shall we say. Each chapter is 1 to 2 pages. The longest one is 4. So they are very concise, and you can really, if you are interested in a particular topic, for example, how can I set up a morning routine that will empower me for the day ahead? It's 3 pages, you read it, you pick up what you want from it, if you like it, that is, because not everything is for everyone. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure that one who is interested in personal development and self-growth and, becoming a better person, they will certainly find some tools there that can empower them to improve their life. So yeah, that's a few words about my book.
How would one get into the habit of their passion to do whatever it is they want to do?
I think it starts with experimenting, because assuming that one knows what their passion is, because many times we don't really know. We certainly don't know before it becomes a passion that it will be a passion. So we try out things. This happened, for example, with me and podcasting. Back in 2018, I just found myself being curious about it. I heard about podcasting and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. Shall I try it out? So, I got some microphone and some things there just as an experimentation or curiosity or exploration of something. And I think that is the first step to explore your passion, even if you don't know that it's a passion. It might be gardening, it might be, I don't know, tennis, whatever it is. If you feel drawn towards something, give it a try. See how you get on with it. And if you like it, carry on. And then you will see soon, I believe, whether it's going to be a passion or you say, you know what, I tried that and I really don't like it that much. So I will sell my rackets again and find something else. But I think the only way to discover the passion is by following that initial curiosity that drives you towards something. And once you follow it, you very soon will know, and you will know. I knew. And I don't know if Kyle, that relates to you or the listener. What I was feeling when I recorded my first podcast, I will tell it like that. I was feeling so excited. I was elated afterwards. I had this huge energy. I was on top of the world. So that was a very good sign that I enjoy doing that. Maybe I should do more of it. And here I am 5 years later, talking with you. But I think the same applies to any hobby or passion or endeavor in general. Give it a try. If it feels good, that's an indication that you can explore it further. If it doesn't feel good, maybe you should consider something else or stick along a little bit more and see what happens.
Do you get an adrenaline rush when you do a podcast? Because I know I do. And when I
have one now.
Do you? When I get done with the podcast, I'm literally sweating. I'll be shaking from the adrenaline, and it's not. I'm not scared at all. It's just I'm so pumped up. I mean, I have to have a fan going because it feels like it gets hot in here. Do you get that feeling as well?
Absolutely. I get that with podcasts, especially when I'm a guest on the podcast. I mean, as a host, because my role is a bit different. It's not me, giving the answers or the presentation, if you want. It's slightly less. But as a guest, I certainly do, and I also have that same, the sweaty palms and the excitement and the butterflies in the stomach, all these things, when I speak in front of people, either in a public speaking setting, on a stage or live, or even in a Zoom call, if there are many or some people there. I do have that same, I think it's excitement. So you can call it stress, but I think the important distinction there is that it is up to you what you name it, because stress will have similar, or if not the same, physical or physiological characteristics. You will still, if you get stressed, you will have sweaty palms, you will feel, nervous, sweating, all these things. It's the same with what we were talking, but we have the ability to frame these particular, these physical sensations either as stress, and if we do that, then it's really going to bring us down, or we can frame them as excitement. I'm very excited, and that's why I'm feeling like that. So I think that's it takes a little bit of practice to be able to do so, but I think it's something very useful and practical. So next time someone finds themselves in a situation that they have these kinds of physical reactions, shall we say, let's try to reframe it from, oh, I'm panicking or I'm stressful. Let's reframe it to, I'm excited about what is happening. That's why I'm feeling like that. Of course, that doesn't apply to everything, but I suppose we are all intelligent people here. We know what this can apply to and what not.
The reason why I bring that up is not just because I want to know how, if you feel the same way I do. The reason behind it is when you get done, like with a podcast or a project, whatever it is, you've got that excitement, and then once it's kind of passed, sometimes you lose that passion or that drive. How do you keep it up?
You keep going. I mean, if you notice that in between those actions, or that you drop that excitement, that level of energy, maybe you need to do more of it if you can. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of specific examples that this would apply. If you do it really far and far in between, to some extent, I suppose that's normal. It will happen when you have something that really brings you joy or enthusiasm. I think the answer to your question, as far as I understand it, is do more, do it more frequently, so that you maintain it. Don't leave it for a month until next time if it really makes you feel so fantastic. Is that what you meant with the question?
Pretty much, because I'll be honest with you. If I have some time in between guests, I'll kind of lose that passion in a way. And I want to keep that feeling going even during the downtimes. Even if I take a vacation, sometimes it's, oh, I don't know if I want to keep doing this or not. I want to keep that passion going. And I know some folks out there, they will sometimes get burned out as well.
There is a balance, isn't there? I mean, you have to first of all, I believe that if it is something that you're really passionate about and you're doing it, you can't get burned out from that. I think we get burned out when we're doing things that we have to do rather than we're really excited of doing. So if we're talking about the podcast, for example, in particular, if you do the podcast and you feel like I'm tired and I'm having a burnout, that's probably maybe not the right approach to podcasting. Maybe you need to give some of the elements away to someone else to help you with that, or maybe you need to slow down. But if you're really passionate about doing it, from my understanding anyway, that's my opinion, you can't get a burnout from doing something you absolutely love doing. You have to, it's that other element of, you know what, I have to do that, it's my obligation. That's when the burnout starts developing and eventually happens. I don't know if that's how you see it, or if you feel different about this, but I think something that energizes us, that fills us with enthusiasm, I can't see that burning you out, because it fulfills you. You do it for yourself. You do it because you feel inspired to do it. The moment it becomes an obligation, or it turns from something that is self-expression and inspiration, when it turns to something, oh, I need to do it in order to sell it, or because 20 people asked me for it, and that's it. It's not the same anymore, is it? I mean, you have to do it, rather than, oh, I do it when I feel inspired to do it. So I think it is the same, like with the podcast or with other things. Yeah, I believe it's exactly the same. That when it becomes a must, I have not must, I have to do it, like an obligation or a job, or for different reasons than the ones that you wanted to do it for.
Well, something else that might kill the passion, because it almost did for me, is when you get discouraged by friends and family. Now, if it's a stranger, I could care less what you have to say, but when it comes to family and friends, you tend to listen a little more. We wanted to move. Okay, I grew up outside of Houston, Texas. And after you've lived there all your life and you've been around chemical plants and all that, yeah, you kind of get tired of it. And then we had started coming up to the Austin area and visiting, and it's beautiful up here. You don't have the chemical plants and all that going on. You have a lot of nature, clean water, animals, you name it, it's here. And then when I started mentioning it to my family, I'd get the, oh, you don't want to live up there. It costs too much money. You don't know anybody up there. You grew up here. You know everything down here. What about your job? I had a good job. I had a really good job. Great pension, the whole 9 yards. I was a supervisor working for the city. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And oh, why are you going to give up all those benefits? You got it made. You got a company truck. I mean, you have to really screw up to get fired from the city. But I didn't want that anymore. And if somebody comes to you and tells you that hey, you've got all this going on for you, what do you do? How do you keep them from killing your dream?
It's a great question. I think what you said, that especially the people closest to us, our family, first and foremost, they are the people that will influence us. And if their opinion is opposite or different than what you're feeling inside, that it's the right thing to do, it is difficult. It is difficult. But the thing is that no one knows what's best for you apart from yourself. You are the person that really knows what's best for you. The other people may have good intentions, but they're looking at your life from their point of view. So they don't know how you're feeling every day that you're going to a job that you don't like, for example, or that you can't wait for Friday so that you can get drunk in the weekend to forget about the next week that is coming. So they see that, oh, you have a good job, you have a benefits, pension, whatever else. But so they look at it from their point of view. However, it is your life, it is your point of view that you need to listen. So I know it's not easy to ignore or disregard the opinions of people who are very close to you when it is different than yours. But I think it's important to understand that you know, they have, yes, they have good intentions, but they don't really know what you know about your life. And in the end, it is your life. It is you not. It is your life for you to live the way that you want to, and you don't have any. That's how I see it anyway. That my life, I don't have any responsibility to satisfy anyone else. So what is the point if I keep my mom happy and my sister happy and my other people or my best friend, and I'm miserable inside? I'd rather have the fulfillment, the satisfaction then internally. There is a phrase, I'm trying to remember it, a quote that said, I'd rather have the whole world against me than my own soul. So I think that that phrase kind of encompasses it. Will you go against who you truly are and what you really want to be doing because, you know, your environment says something else? And unfortunately, many of us do. I mean, I've done it. I can't say that I'm immune to that, but I'm better now, and I really can make decisions about my life based on my own understanding of my life, and try to minimize or turn down the volume of, you know, those voices that come from outside that tell me something different. Because as I said earlier, they have their own point of view. They might really want what's good for you, but it is from their point of view. They have no idea how you're feeling every day. They don't know that. So yeah, I think that's what I would say. And I know I've been there. I mean, probably most of us have been in that situation.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very common. Yes.
Now, the things that you do, you are a mentor. Do you mentor people one on one?
I do on personal development generally, and another thing that I do more specifically is for people who want to, particularly coaches, but generally people who want to start their podcast, but they don't have either the time to learn how to do it, or maybe the technical knowledge, or even not clear of what to talk about. So I mentor and guide them through the process of creating a podcast, having done two of my own and some for people I've worked with in the past.
Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It is my name, agikeramidas.com, which I know it sounds, when I say it, it sounds very easy, but you know, to spell it, it's probably easier if you put it in the notes of the episode.
I
Kind of.
usually put all the links in the description to make it easier for folks.
Yeah.
And also, where can people listen to your podcast?
My podcast is called Personal Development Mastery. For those of you watching, you can see the logo there. You can listen to it wherever you listen to your podcasts. So once you finish listening to this episode, just search, type Personal Development Mastery, and you will see it. Kyle, I would also like, if that's okay, to give to your listeners a free copy of my book, because we discussed about it, and I
Right.
think one can find, if they have been interested in this conversation, they will find something of value there. So I'm very happy to give the electronic version, the PDF version, for free. So if you go to agikeramidas.com/88, and 88 comes from the title of the book, you can download a copy of the book for free, and that's a full book. It's like 200 and something pages. So it's a gift to anyone interested in personal development or improving their life in general.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. What about social media?
Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram are the ones that I use. Again, my name, Agi Keramidas, you will find me there. As far as I know, there is no other Agi Keramidas, which is, it's a good situation to be. On one hand, you know, it's not an easy name to spell. And but on the other hand, there isn't anyone else with a similar name like this. So even if you do your best and type something, it will probably come up. You will see me.
Surprising.
So feel free to connect. Tell me that you found me through Kyle's podcast, and I'll be very happy to connect with you.
Agi, thank you so much for coming on the show. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and I am going to check out your book as well.
Kyle, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for the invitation, and I really enjoyed our conversation very much. Thank you.
And I also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back, hit that subscribe button. And for my regulars, you guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. And until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network